everyone, in this video we will talk about consumer behavior in tourism. So basically, this will help us to understand why certain people travel and why did they desire to go for tours, and also to understand the characteristics that influence consumer behavior in relation to tourism. So what is consumer behavior? Consumer behavior refers to the process and activities that people engage in when looking for, selecting, purchasing, utilizing, evaluating, and disposing of products and services to meet their needs and desires. Marketers expect that by understanding what causes the consumers to buy particular goods and services, they will be able to determine which products are needed in the marketplace, which are obsolete, and how best to present the goods to the consumers. Going to the factors that influence consumer behavior, first is motivations, our inner drives that make people take a specific plan of action to satisfy their needs. Hierarchy of needs push and pull factor. There are 8 theories of travel. First is recuperation or regeneration, compensation and social integration, escape, communication, freedom and self-determination, self-realization, happiness, and lastly is broadening of mind. Second is culture, collective mental programming of the human which distinguishes one group of people from one another. So culture definitely defines an individual, and the buying pattern of the individual will vary on the basis of culture. Third is age and gender. Age pertains to the number of years a person has been living, while gender is the major factor out of all the other factors that affects consumer purchasing behavior. When gender differs, the perception of consuming the product is different as well. Men and women tend to have different choices while shopping because of the difference in their upbringing and socialization. 4 is social class, economic status of individual. It is one's position within the society and is determined by factors such as income, wealth, and education. For example, rich people have the opportunity to travel all over the world because they can afford travel expenses. Next is lifestyle. It is a person's pattern of living as expressed in one's activities, interests, and opinions. So when a customer needs a healthy lifestyle, for example, the products he or she will purchase will be related to healthy alternatives to junk foods. 6 is life cycle. It refers to stages of an individual goes through in their lifetime. 7 is reference group, known to be a set of people who have a direct or indirect influence on other people's attitude or behavior. For example, your next-door neighbor, their furniture, appliances, and so on will influence your levels of aspiration and purchasing behavior. This group does not have an equal impact on all products. 8 is personality and self-concept. This refers to a distinguishing physiological characteristics that lead to relatively consistent and enduring responses to the environment. An example of this is a customer that tends to go to a product that reflects in his or her personality. Next are the steps of buyer decision maker process. First is need recognition or problem recognition or awareness. The most important stage of the buying process because every sale begins when a customer becomes aware that they have a need for a product or service. Next is search for information or research. During this stage, customers want to find out their options. So how do customers search for information? By using internal information or your knowledge of a product or brand, as well as external information or information about a product or brand from friends, family, reviews, endorsements, and press reviews. Next is evaluation of alternatives or consideration. This is the stage when a customer is comparing options to make the best choice. It's time to evaluate their choices and see if there are any promising alternatives. Next is purchase decision. During this stage, buying behavior turns into action. Customers are ready to buy and have decided where and what they want to buy. Last step is post-purchase evaluation or repurchase. Consumers reflect on the recent purchase. They think about how they feel about it, if it was a good investment, and most importantly, if they will return to their brand for future purchases and recommend their brand to friends and family.
Organizational buyer behavior. Individual consumers are not the only buyers in the market. Companies and other organizations also need goods and services to operate, run their business, and produce offerings they provide to one another and to consumers. This organization, which includes producers, resellers, government, and non-profit groups, buy a variety of products including equipment, raw materials, finished goods, labor, and other services. Some organizations sell exclusively to other organizations and never come into contact with consumer buyers. Let's talk about organizational buyer behavior, or OBB. What is OBB? Simply, it is the behavior of an organization buying goods, whether it is for business use, resale, produce other goods or services. For example, reseller Mary Jane buys goods to resell them in a profitable price. Individuals, organizations, or government agencies that make a purchase decision regarding raw materials, products and services, components, or finished goods are known as organizational buyers. Now let's discuss about the stages of organizational buying process. First, problem recognition. Problem recognition is where the organizational buying starts, and it is the need. A certain person recognizes the need of buying goods. If the need is bought, then it is fulfilled. Second, general needs specification. After the need is recognized, the buyer should have a general specification of what he or she needs. This may include the features of the needed goods and a needed quantity. Buyers should be accurate, and this is the second stage of organizational buying process. Third, product specification. This should include description of goods. This is important because problem might occur if the product is not exact to what is needed. Product should be accurate to what is asked. Fourth, supplier search. In this stage, buyer seeks for supplier. They prepare a list they can refer to with, of course, who can meet their standards and sometimes suggested by other companies. Fifth, proposal solicitation. In this stage, buyer calls first best suppliers for submitting proposals. This part is where marketers try their best to pursue the buyers. Some of them send catalogs or sellers to their organization, and some of them present their product itself. 6. Supplier selection. After assessing the proposals, buyers select one or more supplier. They read supplier based on its attributes and importance, narrowing down the list and finally selecting which supplier exceeds their expectation and relevant to what they need. 7. Order routine specification. In this stage, buyer prepares final order. All matters such as quantity, attributes of goods, specification, time of supply, warranty, method of payment service after sale are clearly mentioned. And lastly, performance view. In this stage, the buyer reviews the supplier performance. Changes might occur if buyer is unsatisfied or like they may find someone again and not continue the relation with the supplier. If the performance of the supplier turns out well, then the relationship with the buyer continues.
Customer satisfaction through service quality are considered as crucial aspect in business, or it is the two most important things in business because it's for the development of a company, and it highly depends on how they maintain their customers through their service. So what will you do to make customers satisfied? So there is a model called ServQual. ServQual, it was developed by a group of American authors, Apasamaran Valerie, Azatami and Len Bervey in a systematic research program carried on between 1983 and 1988. It means serve quality. A serve quality model to measure the scale of difference between what consumers expect and their perceptions. So there are 5 dimensions of service quality. First, it has reliability. Second, responsiveness, assurance, empathy, and tangibles. It is said that these are an impact customer satisfaction and also in order to identify each factor's potential impact.
5 dimensions of service quality. First is reliability. Reliability means being reliable in business. It can also lead to customer satisfaction. For examples, your employees should be trained well, like as their proper posture, attitude, or proper etiquette. As an employee also, you should have reliable tools to use. Your business should organize and trustworthy because if you have those, the outcomes will be consistently good in quality or performance. Second is responsiveness. Responsiveness is related to assurance. If you communicate to make sure that you make assurance to customer, you should have responsiveness with willingness to the employee, involving telling customers exactly things will be done, giving them undivided attention, promoting services, and responding according to their requests. Third is assurance. Assurance means defined as employees' courtesy and knowledge and their capacity to transfer confidence and trust to customers. And also, it keeping customers informed in their native language and listening to them regardlessly of their educational level, age, and nationality. Assurance also indicates the attitude of employee and their behavior and the staff ability to provide friendly, confidential, courageous, and competent services. The fourth is empathy. Empathy means customers need to feel that they are made priority by the organization providing services. Customers must be priority first. Empathy means caring, paying personal attention to them and providing services to customer. And the core of empathy is conveying the feeling of the customer is unique and special. The last but not the least is the tangibles. Tangibles means it is a physical facilities. It could be equipment they use in your business, personal and communication. Materials, it is the physical image of the customer will use to assess quality. Tangibles are associated with the physical facilities, tools, and machines used in order to provide the services as representation of the service, such as statement cards, speed, and efficiency transactions.
Benefits of service quality for its customers' attention. Customer attention basically talks about the ability of a company in which their goal is to keep their customers for a long time and eventually leads them to have a high level of customer loyalty and commitment. Through service quality, it can have a positive effect between the customer and the service provider by providing them good quality service. Responding to the needs and wants of the customers, the quality service will improve and so the probability of customer satisfaction increases. For example, in order to maintain and increase customer satisfaction among our buyers, we should have strategies about service quality. 2. Avoidance of price competition. We can't deny the fact that in every business there are more competitors and even price competitions are price wars. It is natural that we have competitors like that. In order to avoid desired service quality is a necessity because the customer will be satisfied with that services, that value that you offer to them. Driving from the solution that you create, they will be more likely to keep buying from you. Deal much less likely to put a price pressure on your business as they will appreciate the services often delivered to them. 3. Retention of good employees. This refers to the strategies and prices on an organization develops to keep its top talent and educate over risk. This is not just about minimizing the organization's damage when employees leave. It also provides the opportunity to improve business performance in a variety of critical pressures. In this way, retention process must be ongoing and incorporated into the company's everyday culture. Treating your employees as a customer is the greatest way to keep them. External customers are served through customer service. We treat them with respect, we work hard to meet their expectations, we assess them in achieving their objectives. Why not provide the same courtesy to our employees? Why not observe positive customer service standards and practices for employees? If they can satisfy and retain external customers, furthermore, there must be a connection between employer attention and higher levels of customer satisfaction in terms of service or satisfaction. Customers enjoy dealing with the same workers on a daily basis. Reduction of cost. Every industry management is constantly seeking for methods to cut costs, increase productivity without sacrificing client satisfaction. Improvements to the fulfillment and inventory procedures reduce costs while improving service and increasing customer satisfaction. To maintain this, it is critical to understand the importance of repeat consumers, price wars that are less likely to occur and reduce employee turnover rate.
Hello guys, I'm the next who discuss the typology of tourists by flag. Flag further categorizes tourists in the following. So they are what we call psychocentric. And these tourists tends to be conservative in their travel patterns, preferring safe destination and often taking many return trips. So these are the type of tourists that are usually when you go to a certain destination, they already know what they want and they have already planned for it. So next is allocentric tourists. So allocentric tourists are the adventurous and motivated travels and discovered new destination. And this type of tourist is fairly go back to an old destination and they wear it into the same place twice because they want to always find something new. So psychocentric, they want to return to a certain destination that they've been attuned. So attuned is make receptive or aware. So but pasabot sa Bisaya is makahimo sila sa pagdawat o pagkasayod. But allocentric, new every tour is something adventurous. And that's all from my side. Thank you guys and I hope you have learned from this topic. Bye!